Oh yeah, it's me, Mario Time. And I'm Luigi. I'm a bag. Yup, absolutely. And we are from the likes of the Merxy Toys videos, as always. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Mario Kart Double Dash. Or should I say, Mario Kart Double Dash. Woohoo! Anyway, for the Nintendo GameCube. So last time we have pretty much guaranteed that we did manage to done through Star Cup as well as the Special Cup in 100cc. And now we're going to be moving on to the All Cup Tour in 100cc. And once we're done with that, we are basically pretty much guaranteed we can move on to the halfway point in terms of Mario Kart Double Dash. I know there's generally a battle mode somewhere, but unfortunately we don't have anyone else around just because of the actual stupid COVID-19 and stuff like that. So unfortunately we can't show off the multiplayer anytime soon, but even then though we're able to try and sort that out until whenever things goes back to normal. So either way though, a few things we want to explain about this is the fact that recently today, it is the 14th of October today, in this case in 2020. So, relatively speaking, Luigi, is the fact that we've only got about 2 more days to go, or lesser than 2 days to go actually, until when Mario Kart Live Home Circuit for the Nintendo Switch will be releasing around that particular day in the 16th of October. So things can get a little bit more exciting for most fans out there, so even then though we can expect this much, especially noticeable you can now able to actually just to drive into reality world, and to top it all off is the fact that you can able to actually just to realize that well, it's kind of hard to say honestly, because then again, it has been a while since we actually did manage to discuss upon, you know, some Mario Kart content, which either way though, because of that though, yeah, it should be pretty exciting. And also, during the films of today actually, is the fact that in terms of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate content-wise, recently Steve, alongside with Alex, as well as Zombie and Enderman, are now becoming a playable characters, as in the DLC just recently came out today. Even though we might as well test it out until later, because there are some few things we want to explain, and that was the fact that recently we've actually got ourselves our Xbox Live, or in this case Xbox 360 £50 gift card. And what we're going to use it for is pretty obvious, is the fact that we're also able to re-download some already existed stuff, alongside with the brand new game we actually did got on our Xbox 360 Slim. That's what it appears to be. Well, first of all, we obviously got Sonic Adventure 1, along with the DLC content as well, again. So thankfully we can able to actually no longer get out to worry about blocked content or something. And also similarly, Sonic Adventure 2, along with the DLC battle content, so that way we can able to get some more achievements and stuff. And plus, to me though, Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 are definitely one of the greatest games on there, despite there are basically ports to the original already existed games back in about almost 2 decades ago for the sake of Sonic Adventure 2. But aside from able to having widescreen support in Sonic Adventure 2, although aside from the sound mixing on the Sonic Adventure 2 is actually pretty dang bad, even for the sake of how the fact that you can't hear the character's dialogue very well. So yeah, that's how it goes basically. So either way though, I just realized something, Luigi, is the fact that we're actually going on to Dino Jungle this time around. Oh yeah, it seems it's pretty obvious because of how the fact that since this is all an all Cup tour at the moment, so because of that though, everything else will be randomized each time. So yeah, not much to say for this point here. And also we actually bring back ourselves Sonic CD, in this case the 2011 remastered version, so in this case the more superior version of Sonic CD in my opinion. And I'm very glad that we managed to got that back. So even then though, and also we've got ourselves 2 ports of let's say Banjo-Kazooie as well as Banjo-Tooie again, so that way we no longer get out to wait for about, you know, whenever we try to get ourselves rare replay for the Xbox One or something. So yeah, anyway, and also we actually did manage to re-download it ourselves other piece of DLC for the sake of Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing, as well as Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed as well. but usually, relatively speaking, is the fact that we're originally trying to able to utilize the voucher that we've already got ever since in 2012, but we've already somehow redeemed that ever since back in 2012. So even then, we can't able to actually work it out, unless luckily we can still able to actually purchase that for about £2. So it seems to be a little bit of a cheaper price compared to the forms of how it does it in Metal Sonic and, you know, Death Egg Zone DLC since the original Sonic and Signals Ghost Racing. But regardless of everything else though, Mario will at least manage to try to get those achievements again. So even then, with our replacement console. Speaking of those achievements, Luigi, is the fact that recently we've managed to able to got about 48 out of 49 achievements so far for the likes of Sonic Generations. Oh really? Yup, it's true. Especially noticeable how the fact that the only achievements that we've only got left, and that's what appears to be body forms of, let's just say one of the hardest achievements, one of those hardest achievements to get. That's what it appears to be, is pretty obvious, is Can't Touch This, which basically, in order to get that achievement / trophy, depending on what version you're going to be playing, basically you really can't afford able to get damaged by the time meter. So yeah, because if you manage to get hit by some building sceneries, or if you manage to get touched by time meter's attacks, then otherwise you will be able to actually miss that chance to get that achievement or trophy on the PlayStation 3. Because seriously, still, this is one of the hardest achievements to get. Yeah, I can personally agree. Especially noticeable when I play the PlayStation 3 version, I can never seem to get that either. So yeah, definitely a little bit of more of a difficult trophies to obtain. So yeah, that's as far as worth mentioning for this point. And also we got ourselves you know, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 as well as Sonic & Knuckles back onto our Xbox Live Arcade. Just because out of all these Xbox Live Arcade games that we actually got, these two games, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 as well as Sonic & Knuckles, these are the only easiest ones to obtain. This is pretty obvious because they actually contain like 6 zones in particular. Although, originally we were going to get Sonic 1 and Sonic 2 back, but we'll save that until likely for another day. However though, that doesn't end off here because we got ourselves another Xbox Live Arcade game. That's what appears to be buddy forms of Nights into Dreams. I know generally we've already got that on the PlayStation 3 as in the forms of the PSN download, but the thing is I'd like to have well, let's just say Nights into Dreams again, but this time around though on the Xbox 360 console. So yeah, that's pretty much all we can say about this for the most part. Even though originally also is the fact that we were supposed to get ourselves the next few Sonic games digitally, which there are obviously Sonic the Hedgehog 2, but again, we'll save those in another day. And also similarly is the uninspired Sonic the Hedgehog 4 duology series, which there are obviously Episode 1 and Episode 2. Although to me, Episode 2 is definitely a little bit better than Episode 1 to me though, because of, you guys should know what I mean. And also, what else do we like to point things out? Oh yeah, we're actually trying to get ourselves some DLC content back from the likes of Sonic 06 as well as Sonic Unleashed, but we'll definitely get those at some point, mainly in November at some point. But we don't know exactly when though, just because then again though, we're busy just managed to able to actually play certain stuff. Most notably with, of course, we are still going back into Mario Kart Double Dash at the moment, and also is the fact that, well, we're trying to able to actually just, well, get the actual Let's Plays a little bit of a catch up, especially noticeable how the fact that, well, exponentially is the fact that Tiana, she is about to be preparing to go back onto, you know, Casino Klonoa Moonlight Museum, eventually during the forms of this weekend, which is on the 17th of October. And also, Luigi, is the fact that eventually until next Tuesday, we're about to be moving on to the next... Oh my god, why do we keep on getting owned by too many items? Then again though, Mario, this is pure chaotic. It's especially noticeable how the fact that whenever we get onto 150cc or mirror mode, we can expect we're gonna have to come across into a lot of you know, chaotic moments. Especially noticeable how the fact there's too many items on screen. Even especially most notably though, Luigi, is the fact that with the rare occurrence of, you know, the blue spiny shell, which even then though that seems to be a little bit more obvious, so... Yeah, anyway though, and also, we were originally trying to able to get ourselves Castlevania Symphony of the Night on Journey forms of the Xbox Live Arcade, but unfortunately we didn't seem to able to get that. Although, to be fair, Luigi, we've already got that Symphony of the Night on 3 multiple devices, which one is obviously on the PlayStation 3 download, as well as, you know, the Dracula X Chronicles on the PlayStation Portable. And also we've actually got that on the PlayStation 4, along with the English dub version of Rondo of Blood. So, yeah, I think I can get the picture for this point. So, anyway, a few things I want to explain also is the fact that recently we've managed to able to get ourselves, well, let's just say we've ordered not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 James Bond films that we've actually did order for ourselves on our DVD department, which there are Goldfinger, because that's what many people consider this to be the true classic golden, well, the 007 film, as far as you guys should probably already know. And also there we ordered ourselves, I would classify for saying, The Living Daylights, as well as For Your Eyes Only, as well as Moonraker. Now, originally we were going to get ourselves Dr. No and From Russia with Love, and even especially noticeable with You Only Live Twice and Diamonds Are Forever, to able to complete the Sean Connery James Bond films. But again, we'll try to get those in a later time. Especially noticeable how the fact that it's kind of weird actually, it's the fact that ever since in 2015, that we constantly managed to buy ourselves the amiibos back in the day, but now we're actually going to be collecting James Bond films now, which kind of reminds me like we're buying amiibos ever since in 2015. So here we are in 5 years later, that means we get ourselves even more James Bond films, even though still, despite the fact that No Time to Die has been delayed, as you guys should know, so... Yeah, because of that though, this year is just terrible. Even some people actually agree to that, Luigi. Oh, really? Yeah, exactly. Especially noticeable how the fact that there might be some troubles developed and all that stuff, and everything else just all goes wrong for the sake of this year. But anyway, yeah, we did manage to able to, although also we were originally trying to able to get ourselves on Her Majesty's Secret Service, which is obviously the 6th James Bond film, but didn't get to order that yet. And also The Man with the Golden Gun, and also Octopussy, and even A View to a Kill. Honestly, A View to a Kill is probably one of the most weakest films of the entire series in my opinion. I know it sounds a little bit strange for saying this, but it's just the fact that I just found that film, I don't know, uninspired. Well, at least the only good thing about it is the theme song, which is of course A View to a Kill. That one is actually pretty dang cool theme song. Yeah, which is probably true for the sake of the actual parts itself exponentially. Yeah, anyway though, another thing I just want to talk about this exponentially is the fact that I'm presuming that Japan is actually going to be working on the actual singular Joy-Cons for a much more of a cheaper price now. Not the actual, the third-party version, mind you, it's just the actual first-party, you know, Joy-Con controllers. You know, with the one that most people complain about, Joy-Con drifting and stuff like that. Oh yeah, because we don't have that much issues with that on our Switch Pro controller, because that was the only controller we used the most. Especially noticeable for 3D games and stuff like that. And also the 2D ones as well, don't forget, Luigi. Oh yeah, exactly. So, anyway though, yeah, they're about to be making ourselves, you know, specifically, the single Joy-Con, on its own this time around, as opposed to, two all in one particular box, or in this case in the entire package, like, even though it's kind of hard to explain, because I know for the fact that it has been a while since we actually did look upon, you know, certain news of Japan and everything else to be more specific, so I guess that makes it pretty obvious for that point. Oh yeah, let's talk about the most important aspect about today's topic, and that's what appears to be by the forms of recently, Apple has been just recently released, or just announced rather, a brand new iPhone, and to top it all off, they actually announced a brand new miscellaneous kind of device, which, first of all, let's get the miscellaneous stuff out of the way. That's what appears to be by the forms of the HomePod Mini. If you're wondering know what that's gonna be, looks like, well, it kind of reminds me like, Alexa from the likes of the Amazon kind of device. Except the fact that it's all spherical, and also it does have this very interesting, top portion of that particular thing. I know it's kind of hard to explain because this is all new to us, so, but either way though, we might be curious to see how that particular device is actually work with. Even though it almost reminds me of Amazon Echo, or even especially noticeable for the Alexa or something. So, and eventually it might actually arrive, or available rather. It's going to be until likely next month, which I think it was actually going to be on, I would say on Monday. Yeah, I think it was actually Monday, which is probably true. Although you can able to order that until the 6th of November, which is of course until on Friday. So, yeah, that's something. But the main traction of this particular Apple has been recently announced, and that is of course the iPhone 12. Yes, we now have iPhone 12 at this point, folks. Especially noticeable how the fact that, well, we still have no idea why Apple has been potentially skipped over iPhone 9. But even then though, ever since in journey forms of, let's just say in 2018, or 2019, like, well, let's just say last year, we've got ourselves iPhone 11. And now in 2020, despite how miserable this year can be, at least we got ourselves the brand new iPhone 12. Even though it's not gonna release that until specifically in next month, which, or to be more specifically for the sake of points worth noting for, well, we don't know exactly when that particular iPhone is going to release, but even then though, we'll have to wait and see what happens. So, yeah, obviously they managed to able to include not only the normal iPhone 12, but also 3 other versions of iPhone 12, which there are iPhone 12 mini, which is basically it's like some sort of like a smaller size version of iPhone 12. And then also there's iPhone 12 Pro, which is much more of the advanced version of iPhone 12. And finally, iPhone 12 Max Pro, or to be more specifically, as far as where we set this backwards, iPhone 12 Pro Max, which obviously makes a little bit of the biggest differences between Pro and Pro Max, is the fact that Pro Max is the more of a definitive way for able to actually, well, experience advanced technology and stuff like that. And we don't know exactly what the pricing is going to be, but we'll see what happens until when the pre-orders is actually going to be opening up, until not that far actually. We've only got about 2 days until the actual pre-order the iPhone 12 now, until specifically on Friday in roughly the same day as in the Mario Kart Live Home Circuit will be also released around the same time too. Yeah, it seems kind of interesting to say the least. Even though we did see a trailer of it, and well, to me though, it's more likely, and also the actual shape as well, in terms of iPhone 12. It feels like a combination of both, let's just say, iPhone 11 because of the camera eyes and stuff like that, and also the actual surfaces around the iPhone is actually very similar to the likes of iPhone 4 as well as iPhone 5 ever since in the past. Because you know how the fact that we still got ourselves iPhone 6, because at least in 6, all the way up to 11, does have its little curved parts during the actual shape, but now we're going back into the actual flat surface around the actual, you know, with that curve or grip or something like that, even though it's kind of hard to explain about this sometimes. Yeah, but even then though, at least they're going back into that particular decision ever since in iPhone 4 as well as iPhone 5, even though I would say it applies to iPhone 3, but iPhone 3 does have its little curved grip, so at least in the back anyway, so at least we know about that ever since in journey forms of 2007, or to be more specifically 2008, even though for whatever reason that— oh, dang it! Dang it, dang it, dang it, dang it. I just really hate when that happened right there. Hopefully we'll try to able to catch up, and do we? I don't think we can get that mushroom anytime soon. Especially noticeable how the fact that I'm pretty sure we're gonna have to keep on moving forward at this rate, Luigi. We're just gonna have to keep on moving forward. Yeah, anyway though, and also because of this though, for whatever reason, back in 2008, I found the actual card is so boring to look, but it's just the fact that because we're likely a younger age, or even like that, maybe because we're into gaming and such, not so much as the phones of phone technology or all that stuff, but then we now do know what that is though, at least in the future years and beyond. So, seriously, it's been about 12 years since we actually know about the iPhone devices to begin with. Yeah, which is kind of insane if you ask me, so... Yeah, anyway. And what race are we at? Oh, this is the 7th race, so in this case we pretty much almost at the halfway point in terms of All Cup Tour. Even though I suppose you guys should probably already know is the fact that the actual time length on this particular episode, or this part, is actually got a little bit of a less time compared to the forms of how it does it in the first time around since 50cc. Which is pretty obvious because 50cc is much more slower than the forms of how it does it in 100cc, as well as 150cc as well. And even recently 200cc for the future games. Well, to be more specifically Luigi, is that they obviously introduced 200cc in the Mario Kart 8 as in a free DLC update for the Wii U version of the game. But then you unlock it from the start in the deluxe version of that game on the Nintendo Switch. And also, they introduced that, or they reused that 200cc again into Mario Kart Tour. And finally, recently, Mario Kart Live Home Circuit, which, yeah, it seems pretty obvious for this point, right? Yeah, and I think, fundamentally speaking though, is the fact that, well, relatively speaking, that's all I can really talk about this. Apart from the fact that, well, usually because of relatively speaking, some people might able to be super excited for iPhone 12 as it is, but we don't know if we might able to get on day one, just because we still might able to actually save up for something. To be more specifically, is likely, I would say likely until about a few days from now, or in this case next month or something like that. The Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory will be releasing next month now. I still haven't really heard about the fact that the demo version has been recently came out so far, but even then we'll have to keep on researching all that stuff, because even then it has been a while since I did manage to look upon Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory, at least ever since back in, the disappointing, Nintendo Direct Mini Partner Showcase in August. So, speaking of the actual Partner Showcase though, Mario, is that whenever we ever get another one of those Partner Showcases, because I sure don't, especially noticeable how the fact that, well, eventually that 2020 is almost gonna come towards at the end, almost. Well, at least we still ended up having 2 months to go until this godforsaken year is about to be finished and done and over with. But, hopefully though, next year will be a lot more better. So, I think we've already established that loads of times in the past, in terms of the entire year so far, just because of how the fact that there's not much else we can say about this, apart from the fact that it just keeps on mentioning and mentioning and mentioning about the entire news, and then we just want to switch over to a different channel or something. At least the only thing that cheered me up for this point, Mario, is the fact that we watched My Little Pony Friendship is Magic on the actual TV box, and because of that, though, that at least did manage to cheer us up, because, you know, since in about 4 days ago is the fact that, you know, the entire show is now 10 years old, obviously, so even then, at least they were able to actually cheer us up, rather than just becoming moping and doping about this stupid COVID-19 and such. Yeah, which still I still felt incredibly bad about the fact that for North American audiences, they still have not got a chance to able to actually just to watch My Little Pony Live, unless if they watch those in the actual YouTube clip compilations, but no one knows the forms of the actual episodes themselves in the actual the TV guides or something like that, which, it's pretty obvious. So even then though, because of that though, I just feel incredibly sorry for the any other countries out there, including America. Yeah, anyway, so let's get on to the forms of specifically this track for now, which is of course Peach Beach. And one thing I should probably point things out right away in terms of, let's just say for 2021 selections of Let's Plays, aside from the fact that until eventually next month that some toy sales can able to do, well, Mario Party 2 next month, but until next year, let's just say at the very beginning of 2021, that we might able to do Mario Party 3, and also Mario Party 4, and Mario Party 5 during the forms of summer at some point, and even especially noticeable with Mario Party 6 during at the very end of 2021. And I believe in 2022 we might able to do the final 2 Mario Party games, assuming if the NDQ might able to work on the next one, which is of course Mario Party 7 and Mario Party 8. So even then we will able to actually just to catch up on the actual Mario Party marathon. Because, let me tell you, we actually did enjoy the Mario Party Let's Plays. Well, at least for some exceptions, which is of course, let's just say Mario Party fans, because that game is like massively atrocious. Yeah, anyway, let's not talk about that Mario, because, you know, we're just playing a Mario Kart game, of course. So, because of that though, there's not much else we could possibly just try to say about this. I just realized that both, let's just say Peach and Daisy, as well as Yoshi and Birdo, did manage able to get hit them by the actual blue shell at the same time, which kind of reminds me of that particular big explosion, which I have no idea why I'm truly saying that, just because, then again though, it has been a while since I actually did manage to play some Mario Kart games from time to time, especially noticeable how the fact that, well, exponentially speaking is the fact that because there's not much else we can just well, trying to mentioning about that. Now, I was wondering also is the fact that after all we did manage to bring back ourselves Banjo-Tooie at long last. This also means is the fact that we might able to do Banjo-Tooie Let's Play until next year. Just because originally we weren't going to do this in during forms of this year, as in the part of the 20th anniversary celebration in terms of Banjo-Tooie release for the Nintendo 64. However though, unfortunately, due to time constraints, and also we're going to be working on the forms of other Let's Plays first. So, I'm sorry for this point, but either way though, Banjo-Tooie Let's Play might eventually get delayed until next year, just because we need to focusing on quite a few amounts of Let's Plays at this for the sake of time. And also, we might as well able to do, let's just say Super Monkey Ball 1, eventually, and also Banana Splits, if eventually we need to 100% that game first, and then we'll able to dive right in. And I think we should probably skip over Super Monkey Ball Adventure as it is, so, because that game is like a massive step down to the forms of the previous Super Monkey Ball games, that's for sure. And if you're probably wondering, what about the Engage Super Monkey Ball game? Well, I would like to include that, but unfortunately though, we didn't actually access to, you know, the Engage emulator. Although we did manage to able to actually access to the Engage emulator, but chances are though is the fact that, well, none of them seem to work. So, unfortunately though, the Super Monkey Ball Engage game doesn't count for the Super Monkey Ball Let's Plays, so I'm gonna say that right now. And also we might able to consider trying to do, we haven't done any other Zelda Let's Plays recently. Yeah, at least ever since in The Legend of Zelda on the NES, which is pretty obvious because that game is like super short. Even though we were gonna do A Link to the Past for the Super Nintendo for some considerable time, but unfortunately though, we keep on getting a lot of graphical glitches in terms of our capture card recordings and stuff like that, which meaning about the fact that it gets like too many messed up colors or anything like that, and also that as far as some fans might able to realize is the fact that well, we might as well do Winnie the Pooh Rumbly Tumbly Adventure at some point next year due to the forms of the celebration for, you know, Winnie the Pooh 2011 movie, which, you know, becomes like a decade old and during at some point next year in spring, I suppose. And also, we might as well do our Let's Play of the SpongeBob SquarePants movie game until next year because of how the fact that Sponge on the Run, you know, it's been officially delayed during next year, and it's also going to be on demand video or something like that, which meaning about the fact that it's no longer going to be on the big screen. And because of that, though, most fans will be pretty upsetting if they don't seem able to show that off on a big screen, or else, unlike in Canada, they did manage to do that anyway. Yeah, because of how the fact that Canada got very lucky at the end, so at least kudos to Canada. Kudos to Canada. Alright, let's move on back to Waluigi Stadium again. And, oh yeah, what else is on there in terms of Let's Plays we might consider able to actually do a Let's Play of? Oh yes, that's right, the second portion of Super Mario 3D World, which appears to be by the forms of Bowser's Fury mode. We figure we might as well able to do that at some point next year, assuming if we need to take on the forms of the main game out of the way first. Well, we're going to be able to do this on our own time, mind you, because we've already done our Let's Play of Super Mario 3D World ever since in 2017, which I think Sonic and Sylvester did already tackle for that game on the Wii U. Yeah, I think it seems it's pretty obvious, because the reason why that was in 2017, because of the celebration of the release of Super Mario Odyssey. So even then, though, that makes it seems pretty obvious when it comes to the next mainstream 3D Mario title or something like that, so... And also, as far as I've noticed something, is the fact that, since we've already technically done Kirby's Return to Dreamland during the forms of this year, but we might as well able to do another Kirby Let's Play at some point next year, which might actually be, let's just say, Kirby Superstar Ultra for the DS, or Kirby Triple Deluxe for the 3DS, or Kirby Planet Robobot also on the 3DS, or, to be more specifically, Kirby Star Allies. Even then, that, you know, certain spin-offs don't count. Unless if that we did manage to done, you know, Kirby's Epic Yarn for the Nintendo Wii back in 2018, so I guess that makes it pretty super insufficiency, so... And as far as Battle Royale is concerned, we don't feel like trying to include that just because, well, it obviously has like one save slot, so... And I really don't know about the forms of Pikmin 3 Deluxe side stories though, because since unfortunately we're still Pikmin out, especially noticeable how the fact that because of that though, we pretty much give up on, you know, Pikmin 4 hypeness at this rate, just because the actual reveal is not exactly there yet. But I'm pretty dang sure they might able to reveal Pikmin 4 at some point next year, during the forms of around the same time as when Pikmin becomes 2 decades old, ever since in 2001 for the Nintendo GameCube. But then again though, Mario, we have to wait and see what happens and during at some point next year. And also we might able to consider trying to do the actual Pokemon Let's Play. I'm not going to be going for the main games, obviously, because I'm not exactly a huge Pokemon fanatic. But unless we can do some spin-offs though, like Pokemon Snap, and Pokepark Wii, or Pokepark 2 even. But then again, we have to wait and see what happens and during, you know, let's just say until next year, so... Because, you know, we've still got a lot of time to work on, especially noticeable with some schedules in mind, we're able to actually make it a little bit more pretty dang obvious, so... But yeah, that's all I can really say about this, I'm afraid, guys, because of how the fact that, well, that's all I can say, honestly, because even then, though, that I can't even believe we're now on to the 12, well, let's just say technically, since that Apple, you know, Apple can be completely skipped over iPhone 9 name, so in this case that will be the 11th, you know, iPhone device or something like that, because, well, despite, you know, iPhone 9 has been skipped over, so in this case, for the sake of, you know, the actual coincidence that, well, they just call it iPhone 12 as opposed to, well, you know. So yeah, we'll just, well, just gonna have to be able to focus on this for now because, well, there's so much else we can talk about because, well, we did mention a lot of things recently, so... Yeah, and also is the fact that there's one little thing I forgot to mention something, is the fact that, well, Luigi did manage to able to play Sonic Generations on the PlayStation 3, and he did also manage to got themselves some new trophies and stuff like that, most notably with, of course, finding all of these red star rings and also getting all the collectibles and even skills as well. So at least we did manage to able to actually get that. And I think, if I were mistakenly, or if I remember correctly, I did not know why I'm truly saying for this point right now, just because, again, there's not much else we can say about this particular point. Well, aside from the fact though, Luigi, we are playing it as ourselves, which obviously Mario, and you are the one who's going to be driving, and so on and so forth. So, yeah, anyway though, there's no way we can defend ourselves. Oh, anyway though, we're just gonna have to place the fake item box somewhere around here, maybe? I'm quite surprised that we never actually got into the actual, the inside portion of the cruiser itself, ever since in, well, let's just say in new forms of Mario Kart 7 Let's Play. We've especially noticeable, although I may be wrong, that in the forms of 50cc, Flower Cup or something like that, though at least we did show that off at least once. But, some people might actually realize is the fact that there's some alternative, routes in some courses. Or to be more specifically though, Luigi, there are two pipe, paths that you can able to actually just take in journey forms of, let's just say, in both Peach Beach as well as Mushroom Bridge. Now, the reason why we can't be bothered able to actually go those paths just because otherwise we'll be fully behind. So, and because of that though, we refuse to able to go into those little pipes, as you guys can clearly tell. And also, you notice for that particular another alternative pathway you can take in journey forms of Yoshi Circuit, which I think, once again, much like in 50cc, that I believe Yoshi Circuit is going to be on the 15th course again, as opposed to Mushroom City, because it would be nice if the Mushroom City will be on the 15th course, and then if we manage to go all the way higher up in the sky and basically race onto Rainbow Road, so it makes it a little bit more of a well, let's just say the actual, those two tracks can be connected to each other. So, but that's not the case, I'm afraid, Mario, just because, you know, we just still need to deal with the actual random reshuffled courses, as far as you might as well notice. So, even then though, oh dang it, really? I just got owned by that particular wiggler vehicle. And by the way, if you managed to get hit by that particular oh jeez Louise, that was close. Oh, speaking of which though, Luigi, is the fact that that particular wiggler vehicle that we managed to get hit by, it always inspires by the Super Mario Sunshine wiggler boss fight, which is pretty obvious because it seems to be all greeno and all. And as opposed to every once in a while, or every now and then, it's now in fully in yellow, so yeah, it seems pretty obvious at this point because of how the fact that things have to change throughout the years, especially noticeable how the fact that we pretty much used to with the classic days or anything like that, so yeah, you get the idea for that point. So even then though, as far as the amount of trophies we got for the likes of Sonic Generations, that as far as we've already established that before, much like the achievements, we only off by, well, on the Xbox 360 version, we off by one more achievement left, which is still one of the hardest to get. And then as far as trophies are concerned for the PlayStation 3, I'm obviously off by 2. Because if you somehow manage to obtain all the trophies, well, assuming if you're able to actually do all that correctly, you would be able to not only, like, let's just say, imagine if I managed to finally obtain myself, Can't Touch This trophy, and not only that, it also allows me to have 100% complete trophy, which makes it pretty obvious because much like any other PlayStation games nowadays, they did manage to able to obviously include the Platinum Trophy, which meaning about the fact that you can complete the whole entire, basically for everything, so yeah, I was thinking about the same thing as well. So either way though, enough about that. Now let's move on back to Yoshi Circuit again, as in the 15th race for the second time. Don't worry though, until whenever we get on to 150cc as well as the mirror class as well, then we can expect we can able to deal with the actual different amount of tracks. So But obviously, we in the very beginning of this particular cup, we still need to deal with Luigi Circuit at the beginning, because it's obviously the first track on that particular entire game, and also the entire Mushroom Cup, as well as Old Cup Tour itself as well. And also Rainbow Road at the very end, because, you know, it's the final frontier or something. So, but anyway. Alright, so we'll just go ahead and just keep on switching things up a little notch. But then again, though, that's all I could really talk about this for this discussion for this today, folks. Especially noticeable how the fact that I still even can't even believe that, well, ever since then, God knows what Apple's gonna do the next project and during at some point until next year in 2021, which we don't exactly know yet, just because, well, we've only just got ourselves iPhone 12. So, and also, as far as I've probably noticed something actually, is the fact that in iPhone 12's case, obviously they now managed able to include some new features. To be more specifically, they now managed to include a built-in magnet, which, because of this though, usually relatively speaking, is the fact that that allows us to able to actually just do effortless attachment and faster wireless connection, which I think those are accessories, Mario. Oh, right, exactly, they are accessories, of course. I should have paid attention to that though, especially noticeable because it's been a while since we actually discussed upon, you know, just any other iPhone products or something like that. So, yeah, I must admit that I do apologize. So, and I think that it does manage able to contain its price in terms of, you know, the actual casing and stuff like that, in terms of iPhone devices and stuff. Such as, for instance, we got ourselves, you know, the MagSafe and stuff like that. And however, it cost about £50 on those accessories. Yeah, I can't even believe it's been, like, super expensive at this rate. And as far as iPhone 12, as far as I'm concerned, well, obviously they didn't show off the actual pricing for this point yet, but hopefully they'll able to do that at some point or another. So either way though, we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Enjoying at some point in the next few days. And here we go again in Rainbow Road, so we can at least expect that. Okay, speaking of which though, actually, is the fact that in terms of iPhone 12, you know, in terms of everything else, so how this iPhone 12 looks like, it's actually likely got 11% thinner and 15% smaller, and even 16% lighter, so it's nowhere near as heavy as the ones in the Pro version, I think, which I have no idea why we're truly gonna go for that, but hey, at least it's something worth noting for. So, at least obviously the iPhone 11, well, iPhone 12 Pro is more likely the advanced version, obviously, so yeah, that seems pretty obvious for this point. I'm pretty sure, much like iPhone 11, is the fact that this is all water resistant, so even though you don't have to worry about the forms of breakable stuff, so either way though, yeah. And also, much like any forms of any other iPhones out there, they obviously include some different color variations, such as, of course, let's just say, Patholic Blue, Gold, Silver, and Graphite. Which, I do apologize for that pronunciation error, by the way. And also, we actually now finally introduced into ourselves our brand new, super fast wireless play. And this time around, we actually introduced into ourselves 5G, which is a much more of an improvement of the forms of how it does it on 4G. Even though, mind you, we still got ourselves 4G in our phone. So, yeah, it's quite nice to see 5G in action. So, that seems pretty promising enough. And, well, it seems pretty obvious is the fact that I'm pretty sure most, people out there will expect it now able to be extremely hyped for iPhone 12. So, and also, much like iPhone 11, is the fact that obviously it actually includes, the Pro camera system, which actually includes the night mode, much like the forms of iPhone 11. So, yeah, that's pretty much as far as we can say in terms of iPhone 12 has to offer. Yeah, especially noticeable how the fact that well, that's what I can say about this. So, yeah, let's just go ahead and just play Mario Kart Double Dash from now on, so even then we can at least expect to see, you know, Rainbow Road in action, much like before. So even then, despite the fact that we still ended up falling off in that particular spiral section, because we still keep on falling off on that particular segment right there. Yeah, anyway, though. So yeah, sorry about the actual awkward quietness at this point, guys, because obviously we're gonna have to, you know, obviously concentrate onto this particular thing itself, obviously. Oh yeah, and the final thing before we move on to the next part and doing at some point this Friday, obviously they now managed to include the iOS 14. So even then though, they can able to get ourselves some really good stuff. To be more specifically, let's just say the UI as well as the forms of the home screen menu is actually incredibly different in comparison to the previous iOS's updates or something like that. So, and also much like in any other iPhones, they obviously includes the AR and stuff like that, and you can now able to see it from different angle and stuff like that. So even though that seems to be a little bit more impressive, and also finally is the fact that the AirPods might be pretty dang similar to the ones in the 11 how this goes or something. So, but then again, it has been a while since we actually looked upon iPhone or something like that, just because, well, we're more into the forms of any other gaming and stuff. But gosh, that was a lot of conversation, Mario. Especially noticeable how the fact that while everything else going on at the moment right now is still a major issue, but at least we managed to get something out of it. Especially with, you know, iPhone 12 is now officially announced, but we don't know exactly what the release date is going to be. So either way though, let's see the actual award ceremony in terms of All Cup Tour in 100cc. So it's pretty obvious we are number 1, and Peach and Daisy are in 2nd place, and Yoshi and Bodo is in 3rd. So we got the endings up here, so join us next time for more of Let's Play of Mario Kart Double Dash. Is the fact that we are now moving on to 150cc from Mushroom Cup to Flower Cup, so we'll see you guys on Friday. Later, fellas.